was this season generally goated? This was a tweet from Pav. Great guy. If you don't know him, obviously follow him on Twitter. Big Chelsea supporter. Speaks facts, especially on TikTok. But he posted a bunch of photos here, and I thought it'd be interesting to go through each one and consider whether this season was actually generally goated. Of course, we first here got Lille winning Ligue 1. First side to win Ligue 1 other than PSG since Monaco, of course. A side that were heavy underdogs throughout the season. I don't think anyone believed that they would win Ligue 1 even when they were in the lead in the last few match days. And really, this is kind of like the Monaco situation, but for different reasons though, because, well, Lille, they're gonna be selling a bunch of their players. Not much have been confirmed yet, but we've already seen Mike Magnon leave, like with Monaco where we saw several players leave. And we're probably going to see the same with this Lille team due to financial problems, but it was very enjoyable watching Lille in the last handful of match days, just seeing them hopefully win the league, and they ended up doing it, which is just nuts. I think it also helps that Jonathan David here holding the Haitian flag, winning Ligue 1 was fantastic as a Canadian. When you see a league season where PSG don't win the league, I think that's just an iconic season, honestly. Atletico Madrid, La Liga, 2021 champions. Of course, this was 7 years apart from their first title victory, and I just like seeing some monopolies being broken. Real Madrid and Barcelona, they've been dominant, but they've been not the best run financially over the last handful of years, and of course, COVID doesn't help, but especially Barcelona. I think this La Liga season was probably one of the better ones, if not the best ones in the past decade. I do probably prefer the one 7 years prior when Atletico Madrid won it against Barcelona in their backyard on the last day of the season, but of course this title went to the last day of the season as well. All Atletico Madrid had to do was win, although they weren't initially winning, and throughout a lot of their late runs they were just dropping points, and in several cases, especially in the last few match days, they had to come back from behind and win the game pretty damn late. There's even a game where they were winning by 1 goal and they concede a late penalty, and I'm pretty sure Oblak saves the penalty or hits the post. Just incredible, and people were doubting them when they were going on a bad run, saying there's no chance they win La Liga now. If Simeone bottles this, he has to leave. They didn't bottle it in the end. They made it a lot closer than it probably should have been, but I mean, it was great to watch. And it was also pretty funny seeing Barcelona. They had several chances to go into first place and they bottled it each time. But yeah, and also great to see Luis Suarez here getting some revenge against former clubs, showing yeah, he can still do it. Next up was Inter winning Serie A. This was generally goated because the first champion not named Juventus to win Serie A in 9 years or 10 years. It's a little bit unfortunate with how the fallout has happened with the club, mostly with Antonio Conte leaving, and of course Hakimi getting sold because Inter were desperate for some money because their owners can't really invest in the club due to some Chinese laws or something with foreign investment, I think. And I think a hedge fund now could take control of the club if Inter's owner doesn't pay back the loan, which would be very reminiscent of the AC Milan banter days. But yeah, this season was just great though. Juventus were struggling. They had Andrea Pirlo as manager for some reason because, well, they wanted to go with the cheap option. But it was just great seeing this happen and just seeing something different in Serie A. Like, change is never a bad thing, and especially in football, seeing just different teams winning makes it more enjoyable to me. Another good point from Pav here. Villarreal winning the Europa League. I mean, if you're a Manchester United fan like Jacob, probably didn't like this. Or my friend was when we were doing the watch long for this match, where he had to endure the longest penalty shootout and see David De Gea get stopped. David De Gea! I mean, there's several things that was great about this. I mean, if we go on Google here, just searching how big their city is. Yeah, 50,000 people. It is rising. I mean, a lot more than the 1900s, I guess. That is just a small place, and having them win a European trophy is incredible. But not only just that, but seeing Unai Emery, who's had a tough time at PSG, had a tough time at Arsenal, called a fraud. I called him a coward once when he was as Arsenal manager, but all the crap talked about him, and he ends up and just showing everyone I can manage to a good level. What are you guys talking about? He showed that he's very good at winning this competition when he's got the players suitable for it. Gerard Moreno, great season, of course. They got a couple players from Valencia, I'm pretty sure. That helped massively. But him getting revenge over Arsenal, I mean, that was amazing, honestly. What's not to love? Next part of Pav's tweet. Now, He's a Chelsea supporter, so obviously what's there not to love about this, of course. But looking at it through different angles, I can understand where he's coming from outside of a Chelsea perspective. I mean, Chelsea were heavy favorites going into the Premier League campaign, although they weren't favorites at all for the Champions League. But they made some big signings. Signings didn't really do too well in the beginning. Change of coach, Tuchel, who lost the Champions League final the year before at PSG, ends up and goes on and wins the competition himself. You see some players redeeming themselves from earlier in the season, of course. Havertz scoring in the final. Werner obviously actually didn't really have that bad of the season, just missed a lot of easy chances. I'm a Liverpool supporter, so I'm not the biggest Chelsea fan, but I can see why this is pretty hype. Leicester City winning the FA Cup. Now, competition that Chelsea lost in the final, but we saw Leicester City. I mean, this was like full of great moments, of course. Leicester City's first FA Cup final since, I believe, the 60s. So yeah, they were runners-up in 1969. Great story, of course. Seeing Wes Morgan lift up the cup 5 years since he lifted the Premier League trophy. Of course, Kasper Schmeichel was part of that team that won the Premier League as well. The owner who passed away, unfortunately, his son was able to be there and lift the trophy, which was pretty damn awesome. A very emotional time, and yeah, very nice ending. Now, unfortunately, they fall top 4, and I think at the end of the day, I think this makes it worth it, really. Argentina winning Copa America. You have to say, yeah, of course. This was fantastic. Messi's first international trophy. All the stress from over the years on his back. 2014 World Cup, lost. 2015 Copa America, lost. 2016 Copa America, lost. In all difficult fashions, but in finals where his teammates never really stepped up, this one they did, and they played fantastically. The Pulse especially, but Di Maria getting to score in the final. He was the guy who missed the 2014 final due to injury. They just showed they needed to win this. They wanted to win this, not just for themselves, but for their country and their first international trophy since 1993. Italy winning the Euros. I think whether you're an English supporter, whether you don't like Italy or not, I think you can find many great things about this because, I mean, this Italy team were together as a group. They played great football, especially the group stages and parts of the knockout stages. Mancini showing his class as a manager. We saw great performances throughout the whole side. Spinazzola, fantastic in this tournament. And of course, Sally got injured, but Italy were still able to win the trophy. Game going to extra time. Incredible penalty shootout. Just so dramatic and a great topping off to the season, honestly. Now that's all that he has, but I think some other things. I mean, Sporting Club winning Liga NOS for the first time. How many years? No, it was their first time since 2002. Finally breaking the Benfica and Porto stranglehold that they had over the league for the last couple of decades. That's just incredible, honestly. And funnily enough, year after Bruno Fernandes leaves. Joking aside though, Hav's tweet here, I think it's pretty accurate. Don't forget the Arsenal banter and how they were in the 16th at some point. Oh wait, how could I forget this? Dortmund winning the DFB Pokal? Like, that's fantastic. Piszczek getting a great send-off. His last game for the club, an absolute legend of Dortmund. I mean, that was great to see. There's probably several things I'm missing as well, but I have no complaints about last season. Of course, it sucked without fans throughout most of it, but we saw some great moments, and I think it made it worth watching, really.